So, I wanted to talk to you all today about the whole drama between Alex Jones and the big social media giants from Silicon Valley. On August 6th, Apple, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify banned Alex Jones from their websites. Twitter and PayPal would do the same shortly after. Now, no matter what you may think of Alex Jones, whether you love him or hate him, we all, as Americans living in a free country, should be very concerned about what's happening to him and the concerted effort to deplatform and censor his speech. Now, I've been hearing a lot of people say,
Look, let's be clear. YouTube is not the government, so you are not protected against YouTube banning you from their platforms. Okay, the Constitution obviously doesn't protect you from that.
maybe not, Anna, but this still doesn't mean that these companies were acting in a lawful manner. I would first like to draw your attention to 18 U.S. Code 241, Conspiracy Against Rights, stating that it's illegal for two or more people to conspire to oppress or intimidate someone in their free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured under the Constitution. The Truth Factory pointed out, link in the description below, that there are legal cases that set a precedent that contradict the narrative that these social media companies should be treated as private entities, such as Pruneyard Shopping Center versus Robbins, a landmark case where the First Amendment trumped property laws, where a shopping center was sued for denying access to someone for the purpose of circulating a political petition, and the California Supreme Court held that the state constitution protected free speech in a privately owned mall. A mall is a place where the public gathers, a place where political speech can be heard, just like social media. And I would also like to draw your attention to Sections 1 and 2 of the Sherman Anti-trust Act. 1. Every contract, combination in the form of a trust or otherwise, or conspiracy, in restraint of trade or commerce among the several states or within foreign nations is hereby declared to be illegal and is a felony punishable by a fine and or imprisonment. 2. Every person who shall monopolize or attempt to monopolize or combine or conspire with any other person or persons to monopolize any part of the trade or commerce among the several states or within foreign nations shall be deemed guilty of a felony. Section 1 of the Sherman Act regulates two restraints: per se violations versus the rule of reason. Per se are blatant and substantially anti-competitive, and rule of reason arguments are okay if they do not unreasonably restrain trade. What that's saying is per se means it's never okay, ever, 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 ever. And rule of reason is saying that, well, it doesn't sound like it's okay, but maybe within reason, we can make an exception. In a nutshell. Well, what these companies did, since they all did it on the same day, it's pretty darn obvious that this was a concerted effort, was a group boycott. Agreement between two or more sellers to refuse to deal with a particular person or firm. And guess what? Group boycotts are per se violations. Never all right. Never okay under any circumstances. Now, I would just like to point out, when it comes to free speech, the First Amendment protects speech such as religious, political, symbolic, like flag burning and whatnot, and, the right not to speak, such as in the Fifth Amendment. But there are limits on free speech. Free speech is not absolute. First one you have to look at is the clear and present danger test. Clear and present danger is the most common example would be you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. Well, unless of course there really is a fire. Why can't you do that? Oh, because it could create a panic or a riot. People can get hurt. So, yeah, that's one limit. Another limit would be threats. You cannot threaten to do bodily injury to someone or kill someone. That's a big no-no. Another big one is defamation. Defamation is a lie about someone that could injure their reputation and cause them damages. Now, there are two types of defamation. There is libel, which is written, and then there's slander, which is spoken. Then, of course, you also have obscenity. You know it when you see it. Commercial speech, trade secrets. Then there's also gag orders, and of course, child pornography. Those are all limits on free speech. We have laws in place with the judicial process for anyone who violates them, but we should not censor speech on the basis of it being an opinion that we disagree with. The First Amendment wasn't written in the Constitution to protect just popular speech. Popular speech needs no protection. It was put there to protect unpopular speech. I think Alex Jones is the canary down the coal mine. This is, in part, a test to see how the public is going to react. I'm reminded of the poem about the Holocaust titled First They Came. First they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. This is a lot more serious than I think most realize. We can't cherry pick, because unless everyone's rights are protected, no one's rights are protected.
So I want to talk about free speech for a minute because Alex Jones, who is not my friend and who tells crazy lies about me, is thrown off Twitter, I think, and Facebook and a few other platforms. I think he's going to...
Thank God!
Well, if you're a liberal, you're supposed to be for free speech. That's free speech for the speech you hate. That's what free speech means. We're losing the thread of the concepts that are important to this country. Either you care about the real American shit or you don't. And if you do, it goes for every side. I don't like Alex Jones, but Alex Jones gets to speak. Everybody gets to speak.